When you clearly don't work somewhere, but people seem to think you do. Welcome to this episode of I Don't Work Here, Lady. Our first one is from Lo Schwerg. When I was working my first ever job, I used to put on my uniform at home, since it only took like 3 minutes by bike to get to work. Sometimes I went shopping after work in my uniform too, since there was a mall between my workplace and my house. People in the grocery store as well as the shoe store in the mall did mistake me for an employee and were confused and mad if I didn't help them. The thing is, I was working as a firefighter. Obviously, I only wore my actual emergency uniform in case of an emergency, but we had a uniform for everyday work around the station. Long dark blue pants with pockets and a yellow and silver reflective stripe around the bottoms of the pant legs, as well as a blue sweatshirt with Fire Department, name of city, printed in huge letters on the back. Other than these very obvious signs where I was actually employed, none of the uniforms of the workers in the stores looked remotely similar to my uniform. I'm generally a pretty polite person, more so if I'm wearing my uniform. But when I was trying on shoes after a shift and a lady asked me for something, I just started laughing. I couldn't help it. She complained to the cashier and the cashier started laughing as well. Good times. I never can understand why if somebody is told that somebody doesn't work there, that person still feels the need to go complain somewhere, as if complaining about a non-employee is going to get that non-employee fired. They already don't work there. This next one is by Tubist61. I have literally just ended a phone call that I really didn't expect. There I was, sitting reading a book when my mobile phone rang. I was somewhat surprised to see the caller name that popped up, but answered and started the conversation with, "Hello, I didn't expect to hear from you," and was met with a very curt response. "You're on speaker. I've got client name here with me. I need an update from you on this project." I was a bit surprised by this and said, "Sorry, I can't help you with that. Have you asked colleague?" I was about to carry on when I was interrupted with, "Don't you understand? The client is here and I need an update now. This is not acceptable." I let him rant on for a few more sentences and then said, "Can I just stop you there? Not only will I not be giving you an update, I can't give you an update. Not only am I not working on that project, I don't work for the company anymore. You were copied in my resignation email." It was so satisfying to put the phone down on this guy. I actually left the company back in 2022. I think my shock is the fact that I think, and I would assume that the person calling was a manager, but how did they even get to that position, especially if they don't even know who works for the company and who doesn't? This next one is from Ohio Guy 65. I finished my day at a city police station at the same time as a shift change. I left the building talking to 4 other people. A detective carrying a briefcase with the department markings on it, and 3 uniform officers. I'm dressed business casual, carrying my toolkit and box of parts. Note, I'm a field service engineer, computers. We get to the street and start to go our separate ways, so I'm about 5 feet away when a car pulled up, passing the 4 officers and stopping in front of me. The passenger window is down and I hear, "Excuse me, officer." I bend down to look in the car and I see a gold badge and I hear, "Where do I park for the police station?" The ID shows his rank, so I referred to him as captain when I gave him directions to the proper parking lot, while hearing multiple what the fuck comments from the others. As the car pulled away, I couldn't help myself, so turned to the other guys and said, "I guess I'm the only one of us that looks like a cop." To be fair, something like this would completely baffle me too, especially considering you walked out with officers in uniform and they stopped to you, the person dressed in a business suit. This next one is by Anon11233455. I used to work at a big box home improvement store as a delivery coordinator. In other words, I pulled items off the shelves for deliveries, so I knew where most things were. About a year after I moved on to greener pastures, I just so happened to be in the same store with my roommate. She and I had gone in with different projects that we were trying to get done. As such, my roommate went back to plumbing while I went over to tools. Being that I knew exactly what I needed and where to get it off the shelf, I grabbed what I needed and headed back to plumbing to help the roommate. As I got there, she was looking through the aisles at different things that were close, but not exactly what she needed. I asked her what it was she was looking for and took her right to it. As soon as we got it, we turned and started to head to the front to check out. No sooner as we start to walk away, this stereotypical Karen steps in front of me and says, "I was here first." Not being very quick on the uptake, I just said, "Okay," and tried to step around her. Karen again steps in front of me and says she needed a dryer vent tube. I basically said they were on the wall in the corner and again started to walk away. The roommate and I get about halfway to the front of the store and this Karen suddenly yells out, "Oh, I see. You'll only help the pretty girls." At this point, she has not only my attention, but the attention of multiple of my former coworkers. I stopped mid-stride and turned to look at her. I said, "I don't work here." Karen yells, "But you helped her." I said, "We're here together. Notice that I'm not wearing a vest like employees do?" Karen apparently can't process this because she turns to my roommate and says, "Your looks won't last forever, Missy. Eventually, the help won't help you either." By now, my old manager is speed walking towards us along with a couple store employees. As the manager walks up, I said hi and mentioned his name. Karen took this as I definitely worked there. She started to loudly complain that she was there first and she wanted me fired. I said to the manager, "I'll save you the trouble. I guess I quit again." The manager, still trying to figure out what's going on, says, "You quit over a year ago." Karen finally seemed to figure out what was going on. Without another word to manager, roommate, or myself, she turns to an actual employee and said she needed a dryer vent tube. The manager walked my roommate and I to the exit. About halfway home, my roommate starts laughing and said, "We have to go back. We didn't pay for any of the stuff we got." Just so we are clear, I actually went back the next day, spoke to the manager, and paid for the items. Leave it to a crazy Karen to just not use her brain and actually process any form of common sense, especially if you're going into a place that has employees that wear a specific uniform. Wow, you just think they would think, but unfortunately this Karen didn't. This next one is from Kazik Fairwind. This happened over a year ago at a Walmart. For some context, on my days off, I have a blue Dickies work shirt I wear whenever I go out that has pins and patches all over it, as sort of my battle vest, if you will. This fact means that more often than once, I have been mistaken as a Walmart employee, which I normally just brush off. But this dude took it to another level. So I go to Walmart to drop off my car for an oil change. I decide that I'll walk through the store since it was hot out, then across the parking lot to a fast food joint for lunch. As I'm walking down one of the aisles, I hear a grumpy, "Sir?" from the other side over a pallet of products. I just sort of ignore it and keep walking. A quick look at me should tell you that I don't work here, but this guy walked around the pallets and gets right in front of me, all while yelling, "Sir!" at me. I stop because he's now right in front of me and pop out one of my earbuds, to which this guy starts to go off on me. "Are you going to fucking help a customer or just fucking ignore me? You shouldn't have your hat or fucking headphones on at work," he yells. I just roll my eyes and say, "That was rude, but no, I will not help you." I then gestured at my lack of Walmart name badge and the pins and patches on my shirt, trying to imply I don't work here. "Well, I want to speak to your manager. You shouldn't treat customers like this." I start to pull out my phone and scroll through my contact till I find my manager. Mind you, my manager at the time was a grumpy old man from Tennessee who would take zero shit from anyone. Had this guy called my manager, he would have had his ass verbally handed to him. You want to speak to my manager? Okay, but he's going to tell you the same thing I'm about to tell you. Fuck off. Don't yell at anyone like that. Dude is now getting more angry as I show him my manager's number. Go ahead, call him. Tell him I didn't help you out. I don't work here, and it's my day off. You shouldn't be treating people who don't work at this store like this. The guy just mumbled something, then pushed past me and walked away, having never called my manager. The next time I was at work, I told my manager this story and he got a laugh out of it, saying that he would have loved if that guy had called him. This is why being respectful to people actually goes a long way. I feel like if this guy was not the grumpy old prick that he presented himself to be and was actually taking a different approach, maybe OP might have helped the person out. But I'm 100% with the OP. If someone treats me like shit or talks to me like shit, they're gonna get it right back. And our final one is by Certain Scarcity 442. This insane woman followed me around TJ Maxx last week, insisting that I help her find a dress in her size, and asked if we had it in the back. I ignored her because I had no idea she was talking to me. She kept pestering me until I realized Hagatha was talking to me. When I told her I didn't work there, she called me a filthy liar because she recognized me. When I told her I worked there 8 years ago, she still insisted I help her. I walked away and the 70-something woman proceeded to act like a toddler having a tantrum. She didn't even believe the manager when he said I wasn't an associate. Thank God I got out of retail. The nutjobs flocked to TJ Maxx for some reason. I think what gets me is the fact that she recognized you from 8 years ago and just did not accept the fact that you moved on and no longer work there. As if, once somebody works at a job, they never move on, never advance, never have any other options. Alright, that's enough stories for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of I Don't Work Here Lady. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons, have a great day and stay safe out there.